Hello everyone, in this video I want to take a deeper look at the relationship feature that is built into the Make.md plugin. It's related to the database that they have in here, and you can create a property that is of the relationship type. I want to go a little bit deeper into it because I did get a question from the last video I did, which was just more of a quick overview of the Make.md plugin and some of the new things that you can do with their database. So let's dig a little bit deeper into it. We'll see some of the good, the bad, the ugly, so on and so forth. Let's take a look at it and we'll see how it looks. You can see what my experience is, and obviously with all of these plugins, make sure you're doing your own testing and vetting of the different features. If you see me doing a review on any of the plugins from Obsidian, they all do come with their own risk. So you accept the risk if you enable it on your vault and you start using these plugins. But make sure you test these first. The beauty of Obsidian is you can easily come in and you can create another vault, like I have here, a lab vault. I have a private vault. I have multiple vaults here that I can easily kind of do different things in. You can set up different plugins, configurations, so on and so forth, and they never really affect each other. So definitely take advantage of that when you're vetting out some of these plugins. They do come with their own risk, which is why Obsidian disables the third-party plugins feature by default. But I digress on that particular topic. Let's go ahead and get into the plugin and see how it works. First off, I'm going to create a folder and I'm going to call it relationships. And basically what I'm going to do in this folder, I'm going to create two other folders. And technically you don't have to create folders for this stuff. You could use tags, and maybe if the video doesn't get too long, I'll show both tags and I'll show the folders. So we'll create one for projects. I'm going to do the relationships between projects and tasks. One folder will have projects, and let's create another one where the folder is for tags, tasks. We'll go there, and okay, we have both of these folders right now. So if we click on the folder option, we get the list view here. We can easily come in here. We can change the view to a table view. And in the task where I messed up the naming there, let's take out one of those A's, change. We'll come in here. We can change this here to show in a table view as well. Let's go ahead and add a few tasks in here. Task 1, do there. And this is one issue I've been seeing more so lately, where if I come to try to just put an entry in here like you would in a spreadsheet, sometimes this works, sometimes this does not work. So like if I go into projects, let me see if I do a new one here, project 1, and no, it does not work here either. So you can come in here and you can create the new note from up top and then just rename it. We'll do this one here as project 1. We'll come in here again and let's create another one. Go in here, new note, project 2. And then in the task area, let's go ahead and we'll do one here. Task 1, and let's create and you can, what you could do here too is you can just do it from there and create a new file. Task 2, and let's create another one here. Task 3. All right, so we have those set up, and one more thing we need to do on here is actually create the properties now. So we have 2 projects, we have 3 tasks, and in each of the contexts here, let's go ahead and create a new property. We'll call this property in the task section here. We'll create this as projects. We'll make this a relationship or relation, and we will make it so that on the projects that you can only have one project assigned. You do have the option here where you can have multiple, but I'm just going to do one here. And I'm not going to select the space yet because I haven't created so like if I come in here and I do projects, I can select projects, but I haven't selected the actual property to link it to. So let's go ahead and put the property, but we'll go ahead and hit save. I'll save it there. And now you have options here where I can select the actual properties, but I don't have a two-way sync. Now this is probably all you want right here, to where you can simply just go into one context for the task, and then you can just select a project for it. So here for task 1, I'll do project 1, project 2 for there, and then project 2 for here. But if I go over to the projects context over here in this space, then you can see that you don't see any of the relationships from the other space over here. Now, if you want that to show up here, we can easily just come here and let's create a property here called task. We will select the relation right there, and we'll make it so that we can do multiple over here. Let's go ahead and select a space. We'll pick let's type it in faster. We'll select the task right there, and then for the property, you can see now we can actually select a property to do a two-way sync so that these here are kind of synced together. We'll select projects and we will save. So now we can see that information from the task space synced over to this particular project, and we can see what that is. Now if I come in here and I remove or delete, this stuff should sync two-way over into the other side. So if I remove, say, task 3 from project 2, let's go ahead and remove that, and then if I'll go to the task, we should see that task 3 does not show a project on it. Now if I come here and I select and say, you know what, I want this to be project 1, we'll put project 1 on there. When I go back over into projects, this should show on project 1 that I have project 1 and I have project 3 now. Now this is working the way that it actually should. First off, I did mention before, you want to make sure everything's updated. One thing here in this particular vault is this vault is pretty clean. If we go into the plugins area, I have few plugins that are installed and enabled over here. So the least amount of plugins that you have that could potentially conflict with this plugin, the better, because yeah, there could be some issues there because you are using properties, and the formatting of the properties that are for this plugin, the Make.md plugin, might vary a little bit from other plugins out there. So again, when you're using these plugins, make sure you're testing everything. I have not used every single property that comes with the Make.md plugin, and I have not used the properties that I have used. Property types I have used have been fairly simple. So I cannot stress enough that if you want to use this plugin, create a lab vault, install it, and then do whatever testing you need to do to make sure that your use cases will work before putting it on your production or your personal vault with all of your information and data in there, because it does change information on these particular files. Now there are also some settings here in the Make that could help you not overwrite or edit these files. If you come into this file here, we can see that it has a property that it added here, and that property is called projects, and it puts a little icon to where it kind of assembles a relation. And if you go to source, let's change this to source, we can see now that there's a property in the front matter and it has this information in it here. So you can see that it is editing the front matter of this particular file. Now, if you have conflicting properties that you use in other locations, this property will overwrite the other property depending on how you have this plugin set up. So if you don't want this to get written to the front matter, what you can do is you can go into the settings. Let's go to the Make plugin settings here, and let's scroll all the way down until we get to the portion where it starts to talk about the front matter here. So sync context fields to front matter, sync formula fields to front matter. If you don't want anything to go into your front matter, let's go ahead and you take those off. And what we'll do here is we'll just go ahead and close that. And what we'll do here also is we will go in and close that particular vault. We will go ahead and reopen it. And let's go in here and see what we got. Now, those were already written to, so it's probably not going to unwrite itself. Let me see. Let's see what if we click on one of these here. Since they already were edited. Yeah, these were already edited. Let's go ahead and create a new task. Create a new file here. Where are we at? Create a new file. Call this task 4. And in here, this should not sync to this particular file in the source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to be task 2, and then let's go ahead and we'll open this up. Let's go into the source, and if we look in the source, we'll see that the front matter has nothing in it. And let's go to one of these other ones here. We can see that still has the front matter in it. Let's see if we reopen that up. It's already changed these files. So these will not, it will not undo anything that it already did to this file after it's already written it there, even though I went into the settings and I told it not to write in here. So this has already been done. Let's see if I click on 2 here, if I change this to 1. So I just changed task 2 to project 1. If I come here, I can see projects in here. And if I go to source, let's see if it actually removed the other property there. No, it still shows 2 in here. So this is where things could get a little funky if you're changing your settings after the fact. So you might want to do some testing, like if you're going to put this in your personal vault, maybe turn those settings off so it does not write into the front matter. I showed those just a little bit ago, right here in the spaces, these 2. Maybe turn those off initially so you're not editing the front matter of your files. And then once you feel a bit more comfortable, maybe add those back if you want to use them. Technically, I guess you don't really need these to be in the front matter. You can see here it completely works without it being in the front matter. The only thing is that if you want to use those properties that typically get written to that front matter in, say, a data query, then you won't be able to do it if you don't have the information there. All right, so let's go ahead. I just showed this by doing it using the folders. Let's actually do it and do it where we're not creating folders. We're actually just going to use tags. So just a quick cut within the video, self-promotion. I did enable the membership feature in YouTube for those people that want to show their support for the channel and help me continue creating great content like you're getting right now. If you want to join, click the join button down below. Check out the different perks that you will get as a member. There are multiple tiers, so one of them can fit your need. And let's get back to the video. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a project tag 1 just to identify that better. I'm going to do a project tag 2. And then we're going to create a couple task tag 1. And I know the naming is probably makes no sense at all. Task tag 2. And let's do a similar one where task tag 3 is there. And what we'll do here is I'm just going to put a task tag in there. I think I already have one for task itself. And since I do, you know what, I'm just going to use task as the tag that I want. And let's go ahead and do the same thing here. Task. I'm going to put task. And then for the projects, we'll do a project and project here. Alright, so we got 2 projects and we have 3 tasks, similar to what we had before. Now what I'm going to do is create a space that's based on the tag itself instead of a folder. So this one here, and we see that shows up there. And then let's do one for the project. Alright, so we have basically the same thing that we had over with the folders. We have now with tags, and these show 2 projects there. And for the actual task one, I had some other stuff that I had tagged in here, so those show up here as well. But on the other side here, we can see everything listed here. I can come in here and I can see the table view, and I can come in here and I can create a property for relation property, put that there, projects, and just one. Let's create the space here, and we'll connect it to projects. And we want the one, let's make sure we choose the one that's a hashtag and not the actual folder. And that shows up there now, and we will hit save. We will not do a link to property because we haven't created the property yet. So we'll save that. This shows up here. So I should be able to see all the projects, and we can see project tag 1, project tag 2. It already shows up here, so that's a good sign. And if I come over here to the project one, let's go ahead and change this to a table. And let's create the task. I'm going to make this a type relation. And over here, I do want to put multiple. And let's select the space task. And we're going to make this the hashtag one. Make sure that is set up there. And then we're going to say save property. All right, so what I want to do here is, let me go over and to the task. We will click on this property and we will link this over to the task over on the other side. Now, once we link that over, this should still work. And if we come over to the projects, we should now see the different tasks that we can assign over here. All right, so that worked well. Let's go into our tasks, and we can see that the list freaked out a little bit there. Let's see if we can, how do we refresh this? I'm not too sure how to get this to refresh itself, but all the information is actually showing here. So again, as I mentioned, there will be bugs So I've seen this happen before too, but it will come back. Let me close it and reopen. All right, so it's back here. I need to figure out a way. There might be a way to easily refresh that, but I do not recall what it is. All right, so projects show up in the list there. If I come over here, I also have the projects here, and then if I want to add a task, they'll show up there. All right, so I'm going to come over here to the tag list, and let's go over and select let's do the ones that we actually marked here. Do tag 2, do 1, and we will do 1 on those. Okay, so 1 and 2 has project 1 and 3 has project 2. So if we come over here, we can see that those have synced over here. And if we want to take out tag 2 from project 1, from here, when we go back over to our task, we can see that project 2 was removed. All right, so that worked just as it did over by leveraging folders. So you kind of have your pick, and that's the good thing I do like with the Make.md plugin. You have options between leveraging tags and still having all the features and functionality within the space and the context and properties and so on and so forth that you would if you leveraged a folder. So you're not constrained by just doing everything with folders. All right, so that gives somewhat of a quick deep dive into how the relation type of property works for the Make.md plugin in Obsidian. If you like the content, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, have a nice day.